how to install WordPress on your own computer. So in this video or in this lesson, we are going to learn how to install WordPress locally. So as I've explained in the previous lesson, if you talk about hosting your website locally, then it means that it is on your computer, and with the aid of certain software, you are able to convert our computers into servers to host such websites. So in this particular lesson, we are going to learn how to install the WordPress that we have downloaded in the previous video. So if you haven't watched the previous lesson, do well to watch it to learn how to download the WordPress that we're going to use and also the other software as well. Let's get into this particular lesson. In this particular lesson, we are going to learn how to install WordPress. So make sure you locate the file that you have downloaded. So let's go to my downloads. Then you can see this is WordPress that I've downloaded. So I mentioned that it will come as a zip file, and you will need to unzip it or extract the contents thereof. Okay, so for those of you who do not see this particular icon, you are seeing this colored icon because I have a particular software installed on my computer called WinRAR. So if you don't have any application or software to open this file that you have downloaded with, then go ahead and install WinRAR. WinRAR is WINRAR. That will help you extract it. So let me double click to open. This is WinRAR. So if you don't have WinRAR, or if you have any other file that you can use to open a zip file, that's fine. But for those of you who can't open the file, you need a software like that. So go ahead and download it. Once you open WinRAR, go to extract. So we have this selected, and we'll go to extract to. And I want to extract it to the same folder or the same directory in which it was already. So wait for it. It's done extracting. Now this is our WordPress. And you realize that after extracting, we have WordPress 5.8.1. That's the current version at the time of this recording. So yours may be different depending on when you are watching the video. But when you open it, you have this WordPress folder. That is a folder of interest to us. That is the folder of interest to us. The first thing I want you to do is to create a name for this folder. Instead of calling it WordPress, I want us to change it to what you would have used as your domain name. I've explained what a domain name is in the first lesson. So if you don't know what it is, you have to go back to the first lesson to understand it. So let me assume that the domain name I'm going to use is Web Design. Okay, I think that's long. So Web Design Bootcamp. So wdb.com. Okay, just something short. So for those of you who don't know how to rename, I just double clicked inside. I just clicked within. Okay, and it gives me the ability to rename it. Otherwise, you can right click and go to rename. So rename the folder from WordPress to the domain name that you want to use. Mind you, it is not the first one, the WordPress with the version number. That's not the folder. When you open that particular folder, you go inside, there is another folder in it called WordPress. So rename that to the domain name that you want. It's going to be local. It's going to be hosted on your local host. You're not paying anything for it. Here, I'm just teaching you how we are going to go about it. So once you have done this, the next thing is for us to do the actual installation. Unfortunately, this is not an executable file. So this is not a file that has the extension .exe. So we can't just double click on it to install. How then do we install it? Hopefully by now you have already installed XAMPP. If you have not done that, go back to the previous lesson and go and watch how to install XAMPP. Once you've installed XAMPP or any other relative of XAMPP, you should be good to go from here. So right click this to copy the folder. After renaming it, you want to copy the folder. Then the next thing is open the directory in which you have your XAMPP installed. So mine is installed in my local disk C. So I go to this PC, ASA, then go to local disk C, look for XAMPP. So this is XAMPP. Then pay attention from here because it gets a bit tricky. Once you locate XAMPP, open XAMPP and look for a folder called htdocs. In XAMPP, this folder is called htdocs, but in other alternative, so if you are using WAMP, it may be different. I am not so familiar with them, but I know that most of them are different, and the common names they use is www. So if you are not finding any folder like htdocs in there, then it's likely that the folder that they have in there may be www. So you are either looking for htdocs, as you can see here, or www. So just click on htdocs and we are good to go. So as you can see, all these that you are seeing are websites that I have built. Not necessarily with WordPress, because I build websites using PHP itself. So all these are websites that I have built. So any website that you are going to build, you are going to keep it in this htdocs folder if you want to be able to access your website on your computer. So what I have to do here is come and paste the folder I copied. Okay, so basically that is me pasting my WordPress folder into that directory. And the next thing you want to do is to turn on XAMPP. So open XAMPP. Let me start from scratch again. Search for XAMPP control panel, then open it. Make sure you turn on. So initially when you open it, this is how it's going to be like. The start here. I have explained the essence of Apache and MySQL in the second lesson. So if you didn't watch it, go and watch it and appreciate why we need to turn on Apache and MySQL. So start that, and make sure you are not having any errors. Then we can proceed. Once that is done, and this is almost done, okay, yes, so now we have our website folder created. So ideally, if we want to go and host this website on a server, a remote server, maybe we purchase the hosting package from these hosting companies and we want to keep it there. What we are going to do is we are going to lift this folder, the same folder that we brought into XAMPP. We know that XAMPP is helping us use our computer as a server. So now we've kept our folder in XAMPP so that we can have access to our website. If we are doing this hosting remotely, it's the same thing. We are going to carry this folder and give it to those company or hosting company. The hosting company will give us an avenue to upload this folder onto their server. Then we can have access to it. But now we have kept it in our own server. So the question is, how do we access it? It's simple. What we need to do is you go to the URL for this particular folder. Because we are doing it locally, we need to type something first before the domain name that we chose. So we need to type localhost. Okay? So type localhost, local. I've explained all this in previous lessons. Localhost. Then after localhost, you want to enter the domain name. That is the renaming of your WordPress folder. What did you put there? So I put Web Design Bootcamp. So I did wdb.com. That's what I did. So you can put those ones in. The preface was localhost / then your domain name, then hit enter. It's going to open your website as if you were hosting it. Okay, so this is it. We are now going to do the actual installation. So choose the language that you like and continue. But we need to do one more thing. We need to create a database. I've explained the essence of the database in a previous lesson. So you can check that to appreciate it. We need to create a database. So to create a database, we need to type in localhost. Localhost / this time around, not / the domain name, but please listen to this one. PHP my admin. So this time around, you are entering localhost / PHP my admin. Then hit enter. That is where our databases are kept. Even if you are using an online server, this is still a step that you are going to do. So it's not scary. you should be able to do it. Just enter localhost/php_my-admin, and it brings you here. So don't be scared. The only thing we are doing here is to create a database. These things that you see are corresponding databases to all those plenty websites that you saw that you saw the folders of. Okay, so to create, yours may be empty because you just started. So to create one, you just click on this new item here, click on new, then just enter the name of your database. Preferably, you should use the same name as your domain name. Okay, so my domain was WBD. So here I'll add, it was WDB, sorry. Yes, WDB. So preferably, don't add the extensions, just the name. So WDB, then hit create. You are done here. We are done creating the database. We don't need this thing again, so you can cancel it. Now back to WordPress. We need to continue. So welcome to WordPress. Before getting started, we need some information of the database. So let me explain what this is. Okay, we are going to need 4 stuff here. The 5th one is not necessary. So the 4 things here, let me explain them so that you appreciate them. We have the database name. That is what you just created. You've given your database a name. So they are going to ask you, what is the name of your database? Then for the database, we have users. Various users can access the database. So the database is not made for just one user. But this time around, you are using it on your computer. You are the only user, okay? So you don't have to worry about that. And because we are using localhost, there is a default username that you need to be aware of, and it is root, R-O-O-T, root. So that is the default database username. So when you are asked, what is your database username, you just put root. Then database password. Once you are using the localhost and you've not done any extra changes to it, the default password is empty. Not the word empty. There is nothing at all there. So when they ask you for default password, you don't put anything in there. Don't go and write empty. No, there is nothing there, so you don't write anything there. Then the database host, we are hosting it locally. So the host is localhost. Okay, so now we can go on. Let's go. Database name. So it is not WordPress. We have changed ours to what? Mine was WDB. So make sure you enter the right database because it's going to look for it and connect you to the database. If the connection is successful, it's going to permit us to continue. If it is not successful, it will not permit us to continue. So make sure you are entering the right information in here. Then go to the username. What did I say? The default username is root, R-O-O-T. Then password, I said the password is empty, not the word empty, not the string empty. There is nothing there. So you delete this password there and leave it empty. Then database host, we are hosting it locally. So it is still localhost, and we can forget about the table prefix. Submit. Alright, you've made it through this part of the installation. So basically we are done. We have installed WordPress, and in fact our first site has been created. Are you excited? And I'm about to show it to you, so just keep watching. We have created our website, and yes, so after creating your website, there are information that you need on your website. One, how do I access my website? Okay, how do I ensure that no other person can access it but me? So we are going to put a username and a password. That one, something known to you that only you know and can access your website. Then, what is the name of this website? So the domain name is not necessarily the name of the website. Okay, so for instance, the domain name could be the name of the website, or we are saying the title of the website. If I go to your website, what should be the title that I'm going to see there? Okay, so let me use iCreate for instance. With iCreate, the domain name is iCreate.com. Then this is the site title. Unfortunately, here we are using a logo as a site title or the site logo. Okay, so you want something that will represent the brand that people will come and appreciate. And maybe I don't want to use, in our case, I want to call it Web Design Web Design Bootcamp. Okay, that should be the name because that was the ideal thing, except that it was long. That's why I decided to cut it short into the domain. So these things actually happen in practice, where sometimes your domain name is just a shortened form of the actual name, or is an abbreviation or an acronym of your actual name. Okay, so it can happen. The site name does not necessarily have to be the same as your domain name, and you can change the site name anytime. So if you are confused on what to put in here, put anything there. We can change it later. Then now the username is important. That is what you use to access your website after you have created it. So put in something that you will remember. I like to use my name. Then password, obviously, you want to enter something that you can remember. I will go with a very strong password. So let's see. I've already taught a lesson on how to create strong passwords. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can check the Digital School Academy channel. There is a video like that. I'll put a link down there. Hopefully I remember. So how to create memorable but strong passwords so that people cannot easily guess your password anywhere. Okay, so as you can see, my password is strong. Then just put in your email. You've come very far. If you've been able to come this far, you've already built a website. So as for search engine visibility, it's not really necessary now because sometimes you don't want search engines like Google to have access to your site. But right now you're running it offline. So whether you turn it on or off, they can't have access to it. The essence of this is maybe you are now building a website and you are doing it online or a live server. Okay? And you don't want them to see Google will come and pick up your website when you are not ready and people will now begin to access it. No. So you can say that turn on search engine visibility. Otherwise, it's not necessary. So click on install WordPress. Let's see what we have for us. Okay, log in. So now this is the login screen. We are logging into the back end of our website. We have already created a website. Yes. You may be surprised. It's not like we've not designed the website. We have created it. We've not designed. So in subsequent lessons, we are going to learn how to design the website. But for now, we have created it and we are logging into the back end. What I mean by back end is like the dashboard where only you have access to and no other person. That's why we created the username and the password. So to log in, you can either use the username or email together with your password. So for the username, it was my name. Then password. My password was, okay, so I can choose remember me, then log in. Yes, so this is the dashboard for WordPress. Before I talk about anything in here, let me show you the sites that you have built. How do you find it? So you see the name of the site is here. When you hover on it, you see visit site. The name that the site title that you gave will be up here. So hover on it and you see visit site. I want to right click and open in a new tab. So now let's see the site we built. Hooray! So this is the website that we have built. We didn't do anything. Just after installing, automatically this has been installed for us. So this has been the installation process for WordPress. I hope you are able to follow this and do exactly as I have done. If you have any concerns or any challenges, if you come across any errors or configuration error messages, you can reach out to me on the Telegram channel or group. Then also, if you are watching this video on any other platform, just comment it in the description and I will attend to you. So hopefully you've been able to come this far and created your website. So in summary, this particular lesson, we extracted our WordPress folder, and after extracting it, we changed the name, that we gave it our own domain name. Then we copied that folder into htdocs in the XAMPP folder, which I mentioned that in some app software, it may be www folder. So whichever you saw, you copied it in there. Then you came to your browser to enter localhost / the domain name that you chose. to access the installation. Then you created a database, you entered the details of your database to connect it and run the installation. And now we are here, we have created our website. So in the subsequent lesson, we are going to look more into the dashboard. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.